morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Business Today Television, and our flagship show Market Today starts at 8:31 a.m. today for what is going to be a fairly long week. Remember, we are working all 6 days this week, and of course we'll start the next week Monday on a holiday. Be that as it may, let's look at the broader picture of the market. The cues that are coming in from overseas are flat to positive, but let's look at the internals from our markets. We'll start with this wonderful chart of the Nifty right there in front of you. Remember, on Friday we closed in positive territory after sustained losses for the previous 4 days on the Nifty and sustained losses for the previous 6 on the Bank Nifty. In fact, the Bank Nifty was also in the red. So the Nifty shut shop about 100 points higher, 22,055. Ladies and gentlemen, the index is not out of the woods as yet. While you do see a green tick on Friday, but the overall commentary of the markets is fairly bleak as far as bulls are concerned. Let's get into some detail as far as the index is concerned, and bear in mind that Monday will be a volatile session today for 2 reasons. One, you already have weakness built into the system, and I'll come to that a little later. 2, you have the 4th round of voting as far as national elections are concerned. 96 seats go to polls. Remember, 50% of national voting happened in the by the third phase, and another 96 seats are now up for grabs. So with that background in mind, let's analyze the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. The chart is right there in front of you, and the only saving grace that I saw in yesterday's or Monday's trade or last week's trade was that the 100-day moving exponential average both on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty was still held by the bulls. So those are the saving graces that we are looking into the market as far as today's chart is concerned. Now let's get into some more details and as to what the markets are going to do as far as trade is concerned. Let me just get the basics right there for you. The trend for the Nifty is flat to weak. Cues that are coming in from Gandhinagar, that is the GIFT Nifty, point to a 50-70 point drop, and then you will be smack near the 100-day exponential moving average as far as the Nifty is concerned. Remember, both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are trading at April 19th lows. We are on 13th of May, so that makes it nearly 20-22 day low as far as markets are concerned. At the same time, you have the Dow Jones index, which has rallied for 8 successive sessions and is now near its April 1st highs, almost near its record highs. So markets globally are in strength, and in India are going through a bout of weakness for various reasons. Now let's look at the weekly change of the Nifty. That was a painful point. Like I pointed out, very heavy selling seen as far as the index is concerned. The Nifty fell 2%. That's a cut of 520 points at its close of 22,500, and the Bank Nifty slipped 3 percentage points, which is about 1,500 points. The India VIX, ladies and gentlemen, was about 11% higher during the week, and that's the maximum pain point as far as traders is concerned, and the sanity of the bull market is in place. So this 11% rise in India VIX on a weekly basis takes the India VIX, which is the fear index, to its highest since October 2022, the time when the Ukraine war started. So keep this in background, and this week also the India VIX will keep on rising. I hope to see it at about 22-23 given the volatility and the sentiment surrounding the elections is concerned. Last week's gains within the index heavy space as far as the Nifty is concerned was nothing to talk about. The top gainer was Hindustan Unilever, up 4.6%, and minor gains on SBI and Kotak. All the index heavyweights, which is HDFC Bank, down 4.7%, L&T down 5%, Reliance down 1.2%, profit booking in TCS and Infosys. So all these were the stocks that pulled the index lower, and the only hope that bulls have as of now is that 22,000 holds first, and then 21,820, which is the 100-day moving average on the Nifty, and 47,000, which is the 100-day moving average on Bank Nifty, continues to hold. As far as put options are concerned, the strongest support that you see on the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is at 22,000, and that's a point of worry because that's very, very close. If you look at the option picture as far as 22,000 put is concerned, there was a very strong writing of about fresh 15.28 lakh puts that adds strength to the bulls, but I'm just saying that it is so close that it's a bit bothersome. The next support level is at 21,800, which I mentioned is the 100-day moving average. The resistance very good at 22,100 is where the Nifty is structured, and the overall scenario is negative for bulls as far as the broader trends are concerned. My understanding is that both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty will be left to do what they can. Bulls will maintain this support level of 47,000 and 22,000, and then you will have a lot of attention paid to three major stocks. Remember, all of them have shown very strong earnings within the Nifty. Sakshi will give you more details. She's just joined us. We'll be looking at Tata Motors, we'll be looking at Eicher Motors, and we'll be looking in particular at ABB. Remember, numbers for all three counters have blown out as far as performance is concerned, but I'm looking at it from the point of view of profit booking. We'll first focus on the Eicher Motors chart. It's right there in front of you. The counters gained 28% over the last 1 year. Profit has been phenomenal. 31% rise in the fourth quarter profit and 9% rise in revenue. Look at Tata Motors. Profit for the fourth quarter has jumped 3x, and sales have also grown dramatically. If you look at ABB, profit is up about 88% for the first quarter, and revenue is up 28%. So these are the broad numbers that I'm looking at. Earnings for today are from the F&O space, Jindal Steel and Power, DLF, and I'll be watching a cash counter called Zomato that also declares its fourth quarter earnings. Let's welcome Sakshi. Good morning to you, Sakshi. What are the basic details that you have in mind as far as earnings are concerned and brokerage reports?
Very good morning to you, Shail, and good morning to all our viewers. Well, it's going to be a very, important day of trade. Of course, fourth phase of elections will be underway. In the three phase of elections that we've seen thus far, we have actually seen that the markets have slipped into the red. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Remember, we have a weak handover as far as the Nifty is concerned. It did manage to close above the 22,000 mark, but definitely it was one of the worst weeks for the Nifty over the last 2 months as well. The big question is, can it stage a comeback after it has posted the worst week in 2 months? Global cues, they have been supportive. Handover from Wall Street suggests a positive close for the Dow Jones, which posted its 8th consecutive day of gains and its best week of the year so far. The S&P 500 hovered around 5,220 odd levels, marking its longest winning streak since February, and this is despite the US consumer sentiment hitting a 6-month low, driving up the short-term inflation expectations as well. It was just a minor dip for the Nasdaq, but the other two indices ended in the positive zone. Asian stocks also opened lower following the data that showed signs of slack in China. And in the news that US President Joe Biden plans to now raise tariffs on some of the goods from the world's second largest economy, and equity benchmarks in Australia and Japan have declined, as did in Hong Kong futures as well. You can actually see a very, very flattish trade with mild gains or mild dips on the either side across the Asian markets. Nikkei up by just flat, 0.01% higher. Kospi down by 0.1%. Hang Seng up by about 0.1%, and Shanghai just down about 0.3%. GIFT Nifty is indicating a slightly negative start for the Indian markets with a downtick of about 0.18% or 36 points, and Nifty futures are trading around 22,090 odd levels at this point in time. Foreign investors, remember, they've continued to remain net sellers even on Friday in the cash market, taking their overall selling for the week to well over 21,000 crore rupees or nearly $2.3 billion. It was to the tune of 2,117 odd crore rupees on Friday. Domestic institutional investors, however, have stayed net buyers for 14 straight days, and we have seen that they've mopped up equities worth about 2,709 odd crores. Now, as far as the stocks are concerned that I'm keeping an eye out on, of course, like Shail pointed out, Tata Motors will be important to really look at today. The revenues here drove up 13.2% at 1.19 lakh crore rupees. and that's versus 1.05 lakh crores. So that's been in line with largely the estimates. EBITDA has jumped up about 32.8%. We have seen an EBITDA coming in of 16,995 odd crore rupees. Also, when we talk about the net profits, that has seen a sharp jump of 218% at 17,529 odd crore rupees. Although, remember, there's a deferred tax write back of 9,478 crore rupees for the company as well. Apart from this, I'm keeping an eye out on ABB. Here the revenue was up by 27.7% at 3,080 odd crores, and the EBITDA has jumped up by 98 odd percent at 565 odd crore rupees. Margins have driven up by 651 basis points at 18.3%. Net profit is up by 87.5 odd percent as well. A lot of these banking counters will be important to watch out for. Bank of India has reported an NII of 7% higher at 5,936 odd crores. Profit is up 6.5% at 1439 crores. Gross NPS and net NPS have seen a decline on a sequential basis. For Punjab and Sindh Bank, on a year-on-year basis, the net interest income has just gone up by 1% at 689 crores. When we talk about the asset quality figures, they have been slightly lower, but it's the net profit that is going to be tricky at this point in time. That has seen a decline over last year as well. Now, as far as the Union Bank of India shares are concerned, we'll keep an eye out on this one on a standalone year-on-year basis. We have seen the NII come in at 9,436 crores, up 14%. Gross NPA and net NPA sequentially have seen a decline. So that's a positive. Net profit is up by 18.9% as well. Thermax is another one. We'll be also speaking to the management in this show towards the end of the show. So stay tuned for that too. On a consolidated Y-on-Y numbers, we have seen that the revenue is up by 19.5% at 2,764 crores. EBITDA up by 36.6%. Margins have up by about 123 basis points. And the profit is up by 20% at 187 odd crore rupees. Remember, we'll also keep an eye out on Aarti Industries. On a consolidated basis, we have seen that the revenue is up by about 7 odd percent, but the net profit is down by 11.4% at 132 odd crore rupees. Dilip Buildcon, I'm keeping an eye out on this one. Here the revenues have come higher by about 18.5% at 3,365 crores. The net profit is up by 24% at 287 crores. Cholamandalam Financial, that's another one that I'm keeping an eye out on. So here the total income has driven up by about 35.5% at 7,158 crores. The net profit is also increased by 26.9% at 1144 odd crore rupees. So we'll keep an eye out on all of these earnings today, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 points of concern as far as the market is there ticking. One, remember that being a very, very volatile session, the expectations are that you'll see choppy trade with little or less volume. Remember, it is also the weekly expiry of the mid-cap Nifty as also the Bankex. So it's better left for the first 15 minutes of trade to settle down and then maybe take a call. If 21,800 breaks on the downside, then obviously you'll see some pain coming in. But let's wait for the 15-minute candle for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty to be formed and then take a view forward. If 22,100 progresses further on its upside, then obviously we'll be trading on the long side. But given the fact that the granularity of the market is nothing great to talk about, Nifty is being saved by Reliance Industries, and Bank Nifty has nothing to talk about in terms of gains. Just look at the Bank Nifty chart, down 6-7 days in a row. And this is when very, very strong set of earnings have come in from State Bank of India. In fact, a blowout quarter. You have a very strong view coming in from ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Bank. All these 4 earnings have been fabulous, not to mention the other PSU banks that have come in. But the fact remains that the market is skittish because of national elections and because of rising VIX. So one needs to be cautious and pay more attention to stock futures, to cash stocks, and then probably make a trade. Remember this week, Sakshi, I was waiting for you to come. We work for 6 days. Saturday the markets are open, but Sunday they are shut because all of Mumbai would be voting. So 6 days a week and then a 4-day week. Be that as it may, that's how the game is structured. We are also waiting for Mr. Devarsh Vakil. Deputy Head Retail Research, HDFC Securities, to join us, and then a little later Vaishali Parekh, Vice President Technical Research for Prabhudas Leeladhar, will also be with us. Devarsh is just doing a sound check. He'll be with us shortly. Now, two more important points, such as ABB. Ladies and gentlemen, the daily chart of ABB is right there for you. As I had mentioned, it's a run up 83% over the last 1 year as far as the stock price is concerned. And one needs to be really careful at this point of time, because you see now sector specific mutual funds being launched, which is the Nifty, the manufacturing fund by a very well known AMC, and so on and so forth. These may not be sure signs of topping out, but these are sure signs to be a little more careful, as also the fact that Tata Motors and Eicher Motors in particular have come up with a strong set of numbers. Eicher has been described in detail by Sakshi, but let me just show you the chart picture as far as Eicher is concerned. You've seen a 28% rise in the last 1 year as far as Eicher is concerned, and this is the only stock, ladies and gentlemen, in the two-wheeler space where volumes are now ahead of pre-COVID levels. So keep these two or three quibbles in mind, that earnings are very strong, but actually this might be a zone of profit booking for both Eicher, Tata Motors, and of course ABB. Sakshi.
Right. Apart from these earnings, we are also keeping a keen eye out on some of the other stocks that are in news. Remember, Vedanta will be in focus. The company's unit CIHL has acquired another 46.5% stake in Avastrat for about Japanese yen of 12.2 billion. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Apart from this, for Lupin, there's a positive news that US court has lifted temporarily restraining order for its Miraburgon ER tablets. The shipment of the product has now resumed. Hutco will be in focus. The company is in pact with Surat Integrated Transport Development Corporation for the development of Surat Multimodal Transportation Hub. We'll keep an eye out on that one too. For Andhra Paper, the company is in pact with Sweden-based Valmet AB for the supply and commissioning of tissue paper production line, and Lemon Tree Hotels will be in focus. The company has signed a pact for an upcoming 60-room hotel in Bareilly in Uttar Pradesh as well. Devarsh Vakil is now with us. He is the Deputy Head of Retail Research at HDFC Securities. Devarsh, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out. As we begin this new week amidst another phase of elections, how are you looking at the market setup thus far? We have seen extreme volatility in the past 10 days as well. Will that continue?
Yeah, so there are some unwinding related to some jitterness related to the election. So we are in the midst of general election. So underlying strength of the Indian economy and markets are very strong. Market is giving that the current dispensation led by NDA and BJP will get the majority, and it will be an easy win for NDA. Market is not prepared for a 2004 like election outcome, and at that time, if you remember, on 17th May 2004, market got an election verdict which was different than the what they thought, and market went down 15%. So this time also there is some nervousness, but I don't think markets are prepared for any rude shocks, and I'm hoping that we will not get it. Those investors who are actually loaded up on mid cap and small cap, we have advised that it is better to have some cash, and to deal with this election related volatility, it is better to ride out this events. First, we will have the exit poll. There could be some volatility there. Then the actual election results will come in. And after that, obviously, the various speculation about the new ministers and the budget and what kind of taxation policies or any new reforms are there. So over the next couple of months, 2 months, I think there is going to be significant volatility. It is better to navigate this period without taking undue risk.
Okay. A very good morning to you, Devarsh. How do you see earnings from ABB and Tata Motors in particular? Are these signs of topping out, or is there more steam left in both these counters?
Right. So Tata Motors, I think there are multiple headwinds ahead. Though the JLR EBITDA margin was little ahead than our expectation, the Indian CV margins were also improved by 90 basis points. But our analyst has kept accelerating. The SOTP target has now been revised, and it is around 830, so which is significantly lower than the current market price, around 1045. We are expecting that there are various issues. Intense competition is going to there. There are headwinds against the CV business in India post elections also. So our valuations are a little lower than the current market price, and that's why for Tata Motors and many other auto companies like Eicher, you just mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have a reduced rating there. We were bullish earlier, and the market prices have gone to a level where it doesn't make sense to take a new exposure at this levels.
Okay, as far as Tata Motors is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, please remember the number that you see of a profit of about 17,000 crores in excess actually includes a tax write back of about 8,100 crores. Even if you subtract that number, a profit of 9,000 crore rupees for the fourth quarter is a phenomenal number compared with the same quarter a year ago. Keep that in mind. So the reason why a lot of analysts are talking that this might be the peak for Tata Motors is the fact that the quarter has blown out, and the guidance given for FY27 in terms of Indian commercial vehicle sales as well as the growth in JLR numbers is not as good as is expected. So that's the reason why you just might see a dip in prices as far as Tata Motors is concerned. Devarsh, final question. Eicher Motors, what do you think?
So here also, our analyst has actually kept a reduced rating. The Q4 PAT surpassed our estimate, and it was attributed to the better than expected margin both in RE and its VECV. But since Harley Davidson and collaboration with Hero MotoCorp and Triumph in collaboration with Bajaj Auto have launched their models, and the space is going to become fiercely competitive. Comparable prices to the RE, I think in 250 to 500 cc sector is going to see some kind of lot of marketing expense. The pricing and the branding expenses will have to be a little higher. So we think that there will be going to be a stress on the margin. There will be strain, and it will be coming down, and that's why our target is around 3,734. So which is lower, and that's why we have a reduced rating on the stock.
Okay, Devarsh, I'll keep an eye out on all the banking space stocks after the earnings. Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Union Bank of India, Punjab and Sindh Bank. And I'll ask you, where exactly would you be comfortable post the earnings have come out? Because already we've seen a sharp run up in the entire PSU banking space. Now, for Bank of Baroda, I wanted to begin with, there are brokerage houses reports. Citi has given a target price of 300. JP Morgan is overweight. It's given a target price which has risen to 340, even though they do believe that some of the earnings parameters were higher than the estimates, and the guidance of 3.1% to 3.2% of NIMS is perhaps positive at this point in time. Would you look at Bank of Baroda positively even now?
So, Sakshi, we were actually quite early in going into the PSU banks for about 2 years from now, and the improvement in fundamentals are quite visible. But at that time, they were actually trading at a very attractive valuations. Now, it seems that the valuation gap between the private sector bank and the public sector bank has narrowed, and there is now actually a room for increasing the exposure towards the public sector bank. Although we like in public sector bank, we like the SBI. SBI numbers are much higher, and many like Canara or other smaller banks may have some write backs, and that will improve the fundamentals. But right now, given the overall construct of the market, I would like to stick to larger stocks like SBI and in private sector banks rather than venturing out into the smaller public sector banks at this point of time.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the banking space is concerned. The other stock that I wanted you to give your view is Polycab. Of course, we've seen the earnings come through, and again, brokerage houses, there are reports coming in. Goldman Sachs and Citi are the most bullish ones on Polycab. Goldman Sachs believes the order announcement by the management of 48 billion rupees, which could be executed over the next 2 to 3 years, could be an added on trigger. While Citi believes a strong Q4 on strong growth in the cables wires business indicates that there could be a continuous move. Citi has given a 7,708 kind of a target, while Goldman Sachs has given a 6360 kind of a target. How would you look at Polycab now?
So we don't have that stock under coverage anymore. There was some income tax related issues, and we will come back to that. In the consumer electric space, small company Orient Electric, there our analyst has recently on 10th of March upgraded to buy. So that's if somebody is looking to invest and look at the smaller, if you are asset allocation allow you to look at the smaller stocks, then I think Orient Electric could be a good bet in the consumer electric space.
Devash, what has been, according to you, the star outperformance within the Nifty as far as fourth quarter earnings are concerned?
So, compared to our estimates, the earnings are more or less in line with the expectation, 2% higher than the aggregate earnings till now, what has been reported. The banks have outperformed, the auto companies have outperformed, but these are already into the price. So going ahead, looking at the expectation of the spend in the rural India because of the election and upcoming La Nina effect, that monsoons are going to be good, and the valuation which we see, I think consumer business after the election, after these quarterly results look interesting to us. That's where we are going to focus and try to identify opportunities.
Okay, you've mentioned Orient Electronics as Orient Electric as one of the favored picks as far as less froth is concerned. Fair point. Would you like to comment on how FMCG has moved over the last 1 week, and in particular Hindustan Unilever? Any favorites that you would have in the FMCG pack?
Right. So actually, we have been quite conservative or bearish on FMCG alcohol beverages space. These are the two spaces where Street was quite bullish compared to our analyst. We had a reduce on whole host of FMCG stocks like HUL, Nestle, Britannia, Colgate, Imami, and in alcohol space like Radico and others. QSR space like Jubilant, Devyani, all these are reduced. Gradually now we are turning little positive on the sidelines. I think next quarter we will start reducing from upgrading from reduce to add. Right now we have add rating this quarter on ITC, Dabur, Marico, Godrej Consumer. These are some of the numbers which our valuations are now as per our expectation, and we think that there is an opportunity to gradually add into FMCG stocks now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are very close to what the pre-open trade will be on Monday. Remember, it's going to be a volatile week. Not only will traders be focusing on earnings that have come and earnings that will make the ground, but everybody and every single person will be looking at what the India VIX is going to do. As far as prices are concerned, we are now 21 points higher on the index at 22,093. Let's see how this goes. Let me just look at how stocks are moving. Tata Motors, this is something that I wanted to check. Lo behold, it was a 9% uptick, now a sensible 4.5% uptick, 1093 for you, now 2.7% up, 1075. You have an uptick of 4.5% on Cipla, 1375. Hero Motors is 2.4% higher. These are good numbers that I am reading on purpose because I know what's in the pipeline as far as markets are concerned. Now within the Nifty, let's look at HDFC Bank, 1.9% lower, ladies and gentlemen, 2% lower, 1410. Remember, this is the heaviest weighted stock as far as the index is concerned. Reliance, fourth of a percent lower, 2804. I'll also take a look at what Infosys is doing. Remember, Infosys shed about 0.5% as far as markets are concerned. Infosys at the moment is flat, doing nothing, 0.5% lower. As far as price, TCS down about a percent, 3861. A very quick look at what's happening in the FNO space today. Remember, we have 4 earnings from FNO today, which is DLF, Jindal Steel and Power, that is at a record high, and United Phosphorus, UPL. Okay, ABB, ladies and gentlemen, it's a breakout, 10% higher from already a record high. We have 7,896. That's something really interesting. Let's see how this holds when the markets tick on the normal basis. BEML, this was also a very strong number, 63% rise in fourth quarter profit to 257 crores. It's 3,350 for you, up 4.5%. Let's look at the most active counters in the FNO space. Nothing much. Bank of India post earnings 6% lower, 130. Remember, the management will be with us at about 10:20. Please do listen to him. Piramal Pharma, again earnings 6% higher, 159.50. So this is how the markets have opened. ABB still a sensible 5% higher, 7536. Let's look at very quickly as to what's happening in the FNO space, and then we'll pay attention to the other markets. GE Shipping 2.8% higher, 1020. I want to see what Eicher Motors is doing and what Tata Motors is doing at the moment. Eicher a percent higher, 4,700. Tata a percent higher, 712.85. Devash, would you chase ABB at this level?
Valuations are, the results were fantastic, and capital goods and the capital expenditure cycle is going to get stronger. India is in a sweet spot. Many of the private consumptions are going to go up, and that will help companies improve their capacity utilization, which in turn will help these players. But we are a little cautious on the valuation front. The earnings are good, but I think we should wait for a better entry opportunity, which we may not get, because now, because of the results, stock may run up. But if there is any volatility post-election result and these stocks come down to a little lower level, that will be a good entry opportunity, according to me.
Okay, let's also look at some of the pharma counters then. So, Piramal Pharma after the earnings is up by 6%. I also want to check what Cipla is doing. Brokerage houses have come out with positive reports on this one after the earnings. So, JP Morgan is overweight. It's raised the target to 1540 on this one, and HSBC has given a target of 1600 on Cipla. And they are hoping that FDA clearance on the Goa plant and differentiated launches in US could be the key catalyst. 2.2% higher for Cipla, 6.5% higher for Piramal Pharma right now. Zydus Life, let's look at that one too. That's also got an approval from the US FDA. Entire pharma space has been showing some kind of an action from last 10-15 days odd, especially in Biocon. That's another one that's been continuously soaring higher. Cipla has talked about, looking to launch the weight loss drug, maybe looking to also tie up with Eli Lilly on the diabetes drug. How are you really looking at all of these developments that are shaping up? Biocon has also given that kind of indication that they will be looking to launch the weight loss drug in India, which has been hugely successful abroad. Does this indicate that the pharma space is all set for another ready upward run, Devash?
So pharma is a tricky space. You have to be very stock specific here. Across the board, you cannot generalize because of the regulatory issue and the different business models we have. So as you mentioned, Cipla, we have a buy rating, and Sun Pharma we continue to like. I think that can continue to outperform based on the Sun Pharma's foray into the specialty pharma into US. We have a reduced rating on Dr. Reddy and Lupin from the large cap pharmaceutical space we mentioned, because there the earning comfort is not there. At the mid cap level, we continue to like the Zydus Life Sciences and the Aris Life Sciences. There, I think there is still room for about 15%, 20% from here this year.
Okay, Newland Lab, that's another stock that's down by 8.26% in the pre-opening trade after the earnings. Remember, revenue have slipped 5% and the margins have dropped by 120 basis points year-on-year basis. 7% now down at 6640. Do you track this counter as well, Devarsh? Would you be able to give your view?
Earlier, I think in our previous avatar, I used to track this company and we had coverage, but from there, these Newland and other Loris kind of companies have actually been a multi-bagger, and we have gone much higher than our valuation comfort. So right now, I don't have an opinion on this one.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are at 906. Let's just look at the other part of the markets as to where the moves are coming. Let me look at defense. Remember, BEML has come out with a very strong number. It's up 4%, 3349. Zen Technologies, about successive 2 or 3 down circuits last week, now 3.5% higher, 966. Nothing else much of consequence here. Let's look at the PSU segment. Remember, this is all high beta, low ticket. Bank of India is the top loser, down 7.5%, now 128. Punjab and Sindh Bank down 2%, down 3.5% at 55. Union Bank down 2%, 138.95. Let's look at something green. You have ITDC, again numbers 4.8% higher, 643.95. HUDCO 1.3% higher, 217. BPCL 1% higher, 624. Let's look at the railway space. Let's see if there is any traction there. Well, ABB is also railways, so we won't look at that there. Container Corporation about 1% higher, 1009.5. You have nothing else worth of consequence in the railway space. Any losers? 2% down as far as price is concerned on Ori Rail. We'll just stay away from that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is how the markets have settled. The Nifty down 27 points at about 22,027. It's on the back foot as far as Monday is concerned, and keep this in mind that the 100-day EMA is at 21,820. Well, it's a bit far off as far as it is now is there, but the battle for the moment will be at 22,000 as far as the Nifty is concerned. The Bank Nifty is opened 31 points down, settled 31 points down, 47,389. I want to see what SBI is doing. 2.5 rupees higher, 819.85. You have now Tata Motors down 41 rupees, 1005. That's what I said. You just might see some kind of a profit booking as far as prices are concerned on Tata Motors. I also need to see what Eicher Motors is doing. Let me just sort this out alphabetically. Eicher Motors 0.5% higher, 4680. Sakshi, what have you watched?
While Shail, there are a whole host of other counters. Cipla, we were discussing, it's now the top mover on the Nifty, 2.3% higher. This is after brokerage houses have given positive updates on this one. The oil and gas space is in the thick of action again. Remember, the Brent crude prices are now below $83 a barrel. So you have BPCL, HPCL, IOC, all three of them again back into the action again. So those are the counters that I'm looking at. Even the upstream makers, they're actually positive. So ONGC is up in trade today again. We are also again looking at a whole host of other counters from the power space that continue their upward run. NHPC, Power Grid, you have Coal India, you have PFC, REC, they're all in the thick of action again. So the entire energy basket is again on the move in today's trading action. Let's get Devash to address this entire space. Energy basket, oil and gas on the one side and the power space on the other. Devash, how are you approaching these two?
So power has had a fantastic run. The valuations compared to the utility type regulated business has run up, and there isn't much room left. Stocks like NTPC, NHPC, Tata Power together were average, but they are about 20 to 25% higher than our estimated targets for this year. So I think I'll wait for correction into the power space.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the space is concerned. We are waiting for Vaishali to join in and give us the technical views as well. Vaishali Parekh, Vice President Technical Research, Prabhudas Leeradhar is now with us. Very good morning to you, Vaishali. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Beginning a new week, what are you looking at? Any key stocks on your top radar?
Very good morning. Yes, market always gives us a chance to look at a few things. So I'm looking at the FMCG counter. I mean, Hindustan Unilever, Britannia, they all look good to me right now. Even the auto sector is looking quite okay. So I would definitely consider Eicher Motors, Hero Moto. These are the stocks that are in a good trend. So my focus would be more on these stocks.
Okay, so I'm sure Shail will discuss with you Eicher because he was keeping Eicher on his top radar as well. But in the thick of action, FMCG, HUL, Britannia, those are the stocks that you're looking at. And in the auto space, apart from Eicher, you're also looking at Hero Moto that continues to move up higher as well. Apart from this, I quickly wanted to ask you, Vaishali, on Zomato, ahead of its earnings, the stock is looking up again in trade, and this is in the pre-opening action. I think about 2.5% higher at 205 odd levels currently. How would you look at Zomato?
So Zomato continues to have a very strong uptrend and not considering the results, but yes, it is in the positive territory and we would be heading for the next target of 220 to 25. So yes, one can consider with 200 as support.
Good morning to you, Vaishali, and a very warm welcome on Market today. As usual, Lady Luck is with us today. Let's discuss these blowout numbers, Vaishali, ABB, Tata Motors and Eicher Motors. Do you expect any profit booking at Eicher Motors at current levels, or are the charts strong enough? The stock is trying to move 0.5% lower as far as prices are concerned for today.
Very good morning to you and thanks again as always for having me on the show. But yes, I would agree that Eicher Motors should continue to do well because right now what we are seeing from the pre-opening also, it is likely that we will continue with the uptrend. I would say 45.50 would be the support level and the stock is ready to go towards 4,800 to 5,000 levels in days to come. So this, according to me, is a positive one and one can consider buying even now for an intraday purpose.
Okay, let's look at other prices. We are at 915, 914 already. Vaishali, any charts that you think will outperform today on the long or the short side?
Well, so my focus was on Eicher Motors. I would also consider Tata Motors because Tata Motors post the results. Let's see, 980 should act as a support, and that is a level that I would look at for a buying opportunity. So focus is more on FMCG and auto sector.
Okay, FMCG and auto are the top picks as far as Vaishali is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seconds away as far as the market open on Monday is concerned. Remember, it's going to be a skittish day. It's going to be a volatile day. My eyes are on India VIX, and as far as markets are concerned, we look at all the auto space. Okay. Very volatile on the Nifty, in the green or the red. Let's look at Nifty Bank, 20 points higher, 47,431. The IT index is in the red, 43 down, and the Nifty 500 is flat. Nifty now 25 points lower, 22,028. We look at Tata Motors, now down 4.2%, 44 rupees down, 1,002. Okay, let's look at Infosys, 5 rupees lower, 14.19. Let's look at Reliance, 15 rupees lower, 27.99. Let's look at HDFC Bank, 80 paisa lower, 14.37, which is the top gainer amongst the index heavyweights. It's Hindustan Unilever. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in a defensive market. 1/3% higher Hindustan Unilever. This was the top performing stock in the Nifty all of last week, up 5%, is now building on its gains. Second gainer, ITC. So you can well imagine what the markets are thinking. Absolute defense. The top performing index will be the FMCG index, I have no doubt, 0.3% higher, 55,460. Keep that in mind. As far as the advanced decline is concerned, is now 1,000 shares in the green, 931 in the red. Let's look at all other stocks in terms of performance post earnings. Immediately, ABB 6.6% higher, 7653. Let's look at BEML 2.4% higher, 3288. Let's look at Cipla 4% higher, 1397. Let's look at Zomato. Zomato is going to report its earnings today, 1% higher, 203.70. These are the gainers. Now let's look at losers. I want to see what Bank of India is doing. Remember, this is in pain. Now 9% lower, 126, ladies and gentlemen. We have Tata Motors slipping 5% lower, 987. This is going to be a very skittish day. The Nifty slipped below 22,000, now 78 lower, 21,976. We'll wait for the first 15-minute candle to form. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, the battle is at 21,800, 850, where the 100-day moving average rests. Let's get Vaishali into the conversation. Vaishali, anything that catches your fancy immediately?
Sun TV. So Sun TV continues to have a very positive trend, and I think this is a stock in all of media sector which looks appealing to me. Even today it has opened well, 673. So I would say 650 would now act as a support, trailing stop loss, because we have recommended this to our clients, but I would still maintain a buy on this for a target of 700 to start.
Got that. Let's also look at a whole host of F&O movers at this point. ABB, after a stellar set of numbers, 6.2% higher in trade, the top mover in the F&O space. We also have Dr. Lal Path Labs post earnings, so 6% higher for this one as well. Strong move coming in. Cipla, we've discussed, it's up by 4%. UPL is another one that's been buzzing. Polycab, we discussed, it's up by 3.5%. Again, post brokerage houses reports that have come in positive. JK Cement post earnings, about 3% higher. Bank of Baroda, another one that's up by 2% odd. So these are the top movers as far as the F&O big movers are concerned. On Dr. Lal Path Labs, Vaishali, your view?
Well, so Lal Path Lab, 1 minute. I think yes, it's opened very strong with a gap up. So I guess with today's lower stop loss, this should do well. Probably go towards 25.28. That would be the near-term hurdle. Above that, we can still aim higher.
Okay, another one for you, Vaishali. Polycab open strong. Will this momentum sustain? Brokerage houses have given very strong targets of 7,708 on the stock.
So yes, I would agree. One should continue with a trailing stop loss. The trend is very strong.
The trend is very strong on this one again. And Vaishali, kudos to you. You did point out FMCG as your starting picks. Both HUL and Britannia, you had pointed out, both are starting very, very strong right now. Which is the move that you'd like to carry for the day within the FMCG counters?
My favorite would be Hindustan Unilever right now, because still there is a lot of upside potential. So yes, that's the pick.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's earnings and earnings all the way. ABB, no stopping it at all. The price that you see without any doubt is a record. It's crossed 7,700. I just want to see what the volume is and then probably take a punt on that one. Okay, 314 crores traded so far on ABB. This is the second most active counter. Tata Motors is the top traded counter, 6% lower, 674 crores. It's earnings all the way, either the ones that have come or the ones that are in the pipeline. So top 4 traded are Tata Motors, ABB, Polycab. Remember, Polycab came on Friday, a blowout on numbers, and of course Zomato, which is going to report today. We'll won't take a call on Zomato. It's at a record high. We'll wait for the earnings to come in. Bank of Baroda. Now this is really interesting. 2% higher, 260 for you. Vaishali, what are the charts of Bank of Baroda saying? And Sakshi, there is one interesting development at about 9:19. The losers went ahead of gainers, which essentially means that in the broader markets now bears are on the front foot at the moment. 1200 defenses, 1200 stocks in the red and 850 in the green. Vaishali, Bank of Baroda for you.
So I would say it is turned weak. The view gets changed only about 270 levels. So till then, I would say that 248 should act as a support. If these levels break, then we could see a further downside.
Okay, that's the view coming in. Is it worthwhile to see all-time highs today? Well, it is. Same names, ABB and Polycab, Escorts and Zomato and Eicher Motors. We've discussed all of them. But Sakshi, the stock that will move today is Siemens. Vaishali, coming to you, 2.2% higher, 6309. What is your view on Siemens?
So I would say yes, overall, all these stocks, ABB, Siemens, they are doing well. So continue holding. I would not recommend a new buy at these levels. But well, if one has to, I think 6060 should be the stop loss and wait for which has already given a breakout. So I think it is ready for a target of 6600.
Okay. Got that. Well, we have to keep an eye out on India VIX now. Vaishali, for you, India VIX is now at 20.5, a sharp uptick, 11.3% higher. A very, very strong move being seen on this one. How are you looking at the India VIX? Where is it headed?
So this is what we discussed even last time, and I had mentioned that the next target that we would be looking at is 22. And that's what is happening right now. We are already in the 20 zone. So bias remains upward move for the VIX index. And well, as we are seeing, Nifty is also breaking the previous low. So it's a cause of concern. Next target 21,700 and so on.
Right. And Shail, I'll bring you in. I remember last time we were discussing India VIX, you had pointed out to and alluded to 2019 elections when the India VIX had shot up very, very sharply. So I think this is panning out to be exactly like that. The fourth phase of elections today, 20.6 right now on India VIX. Could you give us and our viewers a more insight on what is the level that we saw India VIX spiking to in 2019?
Are you asking me?
Actually, that was
No, Shail.
29. That was 29 in May of 2019. But remember, at that point of time, VIX was had its own level of importance, and till about April, first week of April, Sakshi, this year, we had completely forgotten about VIX. It was lying at 10. Now, as you rightly point out, it's at 20.63, up 11% for a single day. Remember, all of last week it had gone up 11%. So 11% up today. So you can well see what the gallop is. Now what will happen is that people are confusing the rise in VIX with an electoral backlash for the BJP. Nothing could be worse than this comparison. At this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, there is no point hedging your portfolio by buying puts. Because of rising VIX, the premium has already gone up. The best you can do is sell the future of June expiry on the Nifty and then possibly wait. But at this point of time, trying to take a hedge via an option purchase will be of no use, because the premium of puts has already gone up. Even if the worst happens, then what you think, the premium is already priced in, and today's 11% rise on VIX points to the fact that although there is a huge event ahead, but the fact is that the event is now getting priced in on the downside. So please be very careful. Listen to a sensible FNO advisor if you are thinking of hedging your passive portfolio by buying puts. That process may have already ended. The best you can do is sell the future of June expiry as far as Nifty is concerned, and then possibly wait. But today's battle, Sakshi, will be at 21,850, which is the 100-day exponential moving average. We are already down 100 points. Let's look at the losers and gainers as far as the Nifty is concerned. Okay, look at the defense that the market is offering, Sakshi. Two top gainers, Pharma, Cipla and Sun Pharmaceuticals, 5% and 1% respectively. Then you have Britannia and you have Kotak. So you can well imagine how the market is structured, and heavy selling happening on Tata Motors, 6% lower, Reliance 1% lower, ICICI Bank 34% lower, L&T and Infosys slipping marginally. So you do have a red tick on the Nifty, Sakshi, but no volumes. These are skittish and volatile days. It's best to enjoy a nice cup of tea and let the market do what it wants to do. Devarsh, what is your view?
It depends upon somebody's risk appetite and the portfolio construction. I look at the market with a little longer term perspective. I think investors have made money. So our advice would be to sit on a bit of cash for 10 to 15% in our portfolios where clients have higher exposure towards mid cap and small cap. Let this volatility ride out. And other things you can, as you mentioned at the beginning of the month, there was an opportunity to hedge the portfolio via buying June month Nifty and Bank Nifty put options. If somebody wanted, if a little bit concerned about the cost which has shot up, they can again try to reduce the exposure of the portfolio rather than selling the stocks at a low level, hedge it via selling higher calls and simultaneously buying put. But the longer term investor, it is advisable to wait for this 2 month volatility to die down and then take a call. Day to day, there are a lot of news and a lot of positive or negative news which will change mind, and that will lead to volatility, and it is better to stay away from markets for a couple of weeks and let this all settle down before committing fresh capital for the longer term.
Okay, Shali, I'm coming to you again with Tata Motors is now down 7%. Is it a great time to take an entry or should one wait?
I would wait and watch because, well, if 980 support levels are not holding on, then it's calling for, well, we have already broken that. So I guess it's a wait and watch. It's damaging the trend, so I would not go in for now.
Okay, don't go in for Tata Motors at this point in time. Looks weak. The structure looks weak at this point in time. On the flip side, on the other side, we have Bank of India that's dragged now down 10% lower in trade after the earnings. I think it's now 11% lower as well. How would you look at Bank of India, Vaishali?
Well, so it's with a very deep gap down. I guess the trend has really weakened. There could be further more selling. We can go towards 120, 118 levels.
Okay, 118 odd levels could be seen on this one as well. Bank of India structure again looks weak, and you know that the markets have now slipped below the 22,000 mark, 108 points lower on the Nifty, 21,946 being seen. And let's also look at which are the counters that are actually leading to all this fall. Tata Motors is contributing about 23 odd points on the Nifty decline. Reliance Industries is contributing about 13 points to the decline. It's ICICI Bank and SBI, Axis Bank also. These are the other counters that are significantly contributing to the downside, along with Infosys as well. So these are the drag factors as far as the Nifty is concerned. On Infosys, Devash, let me bring you in, and the entire IT space. We have been seeing consistent sell-offs on Infosys. And the IT space has also been seen some kind of weakness pour in over the last few trading sessions. How would you really look at it?
We have an ad rating. I think there is still some uncertainty and that's why we don't see much direct upside. But at lower levels, IT is a good space to start accumulating stocks. And for large cap, I think it is better to stick to stocks like TCS and Infosys, because that's where actually the order wins are there. It's just a matter of execution. Post 2-3 quarters, we will see execution coming in. For larger caps, I think one stock which is the largest company, Reliance, that looks interesting to us. We have a buy rating there. So if somebody were to look to deploy capital in this direction, I think Reliance offers a good opportunity at lower level. 50% kind of exposure can be taken now, and another 50% around 2700 kind of level. We have a very high upside potential here. We think that the volatility is better to stick to larger cap. We think 30 to 50 is on the cards over the next 1 year. So at lower level, I'm willing to put money to large caps like SBI, Reliance, and Infosys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've done the first 15 minutes of trade, and it's not a good picture. You have a negative 100 on the Nifty, 21,933, 200 points down on the Nifty Bank, 47,200, 100 points down on the Nifty IT, 32,810, and what's worse is the NSE 500. Now, the reason why we check NSE 500 is to gauge the broader sense of the market in terms of advance and decline. This is the top loser amongst the main indices, down 133 points, 0.67% lower, 20,330. Sakshi, the advance and decline has worsened now in the favor of 2:1 for bears. About you see 1487 stocks are in the red compared with 700 which are in the green. I have some more interesting data which will break the hearts of bulls, but our job is to inform people. Okay. There are 600 stocks that have broken their intraday lows, and that is not looking good at all. Okay. Let's also pay attention to how things are moving within the Nifty. Sakshi, the advance decline is terrible within the Nifty. It is 40 stocks in the red, 10 in the green. All 19 indices, actually 18 out of 19 indices are in the red. The top gainer is the Pharma Index, 0.7% higher, 18,739. Stocks like Natco Pharma have started to move, 994 rupees for you. PPL Pharma, Piramal Pharma started this uptick that is there on the price action. So it's looking painful. I genuinely don't want to take a view on the markets on the long side. We will wait for a bounce from 21,851, if at all. That's Sakshi, where the 100-day moving average is for the Nifty, and of course 47,000 again the 100-day moving rest for the Bank Nifty. It's not looking good at all. It's the mid cap and the Bankex expiry as well today, so we need to keep those 2 points in mind as well. Sakshi.
Absolutely, and India VIX is also ticking higher, 20.99 right now. We'll continue to watch this index throughout the trading session in trade today as well. All across the board, you're seeing the broader markets weakening, 1% lower for the mid caps as well. Devarsh, what is your own view on the mid and the small cap space? I remember there was this entire breakdown happening once SEBI chairperson highlighted that there is enough and more froth in this space. The space started to bounce back again after the recent dip. What now? I mean, in this downturn, do you think this is going to be the weakest link, and investors invested heavily in the mid and the small cap space should need to watch now?
So, right, there were pockets where there were froth, especially rather than the mid cap, small cap stocks. There is a lot of froth in the SME space which is going on. But overall, I think India is in a sweet spot. we have encouraging Q4 results. Some of the guidance and the monthly, yearly data, high frequency data which we are tracking gives us enough comfort that the markets are going to remain. Economic growth is going to continue. The tax collection, the GST collection, auto sales number, power demand number, PMI number, all these numbers are heading towards decent growth for the economy. So themes like financialization of saving, the capex, the rising discretionary spend, these areas are going to remain strong. We have a strong real estate cycle. So all these are leading towards that we will have a good GDP growth, leading to good corporate earnings, and that means at a lower valuation level, markets remain a buy. Now, in the next couple of weeks, because of the election-related uncertainty, some of the stocks may come down. But given the higher expected earnings, the La Nina effect, which is hoping to lead to a normal monsoon, and that will provide stability and boost to the demand and economic growth. I think at a lower level, markets remain a buy. So we just have to negotiate this period, and at lower level try to keep a list of stock ready and deploy capital as and when the prices are in your favor.
Okay, got that. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Devarsh, for being with us on the show and helping our viewers really help, understand the tenor of the markets and the way forward from here too. Briefly, we did see the Nifty also slip below 21,900 mark, now 150 points lower on the Nifty. It's at the low point of the day now and slipping further across the board. There is heavy selling pressure being seen. Vaishali, would you still look to buy the dip? Any space, any segment, any stock?
I would not do so because let's wait for market stability. Right now, as we are breaking the previous low also, it calls for a signal that yes, be cautious.
Sakshi, I think there is enough and more need to be very, very cautious. Forget on the long side, even on the short side, for two reasons. See, we've corrected from 22,800 on the Nifty and 50,000 on the Bank Nifty to what we are. So about 1,000 points almost on Nifty 50 and about 3,000 points on Nifty Bank. So a short from these levels, one has to be very careful. If you are a professional, then please go ahead. Even then, exercise due caution. And there is absolutely no need to go long. The size of the 5-minute, the 15-minute candle on the Nifty is really worrisome. Remember, today's high for the 15-minute candle is 22,067 and the low is 21,890. So 67 plus 10, 77 point range in the first one, and it is now slipping further. The next 15-minute candle is even more painful. We still have about 7 odd minutes left and we are at day's low 21,891. It's just, one of those things. Let the market do what it wants to do. Enjoy the rally of ABB and maybe if you are really brave and if you really believe that this rally is in place, then buy the ETF of Nifty, which is let me just tell you, SBI Nifty 50 ETF. It's at 229 rupees. Maybe 5% purchase here at this point of time, and if you are the real volatile kind of guy, then the SBI Bank Nifty ETF at about 479 rupees. These are trades that can be done for investors for the long term, and that too at piecemeal, 5% today, maybe 5% each day for the next 20 sessions, and then you are home. But it's now almost painful. 21,887. Remember, the 100-day moving average is 21,850. Sakshi.
Absolutely, it's dragging further lower in trade. Let us again revisit the stocks that are contributing most to the Nifty on the declining side. Tata Motors is now contributing 27 points. Reliance is contributing about 18 points. L&T is contributing about 11 odd points to this decline. Infosys is contributing about 10 odd points, and SBI is contributing about 9 odd points. Only about 6 stocks that are contributing to the positive side. Cipla about 10 odd points. That was the only meaningful contributing factor. HDFC Life about 3 odd points contributing to the Nifty on the positive side. UPL, Eicher Motors, Sun Pharma and Adani very, very minimal. So it is a painful day and it is panning out to be. Vaishali, any signs of a reversal coming in today's trading session after this dip? We have always seen the Nifty bounce back sharply, but does it look like that, or is the story going to be playing out differently this time?
Let's see, because 21,700 would be the next level that I would be looking at. So I think let's wait for some more time.
Let's wait for some more time to really see if the reversal is in place as of now. Let's again look at the stocks that are still holding up. Cipla, HDFC Life, Eicher Motors, you have Adani Enterprises, Britannia Industries, Sun Pharma, Asian Paints, Adani Ports, SBI Life. Those are the bright spots as of now. Vaishali, anything in the Adani Group stocks that you would like to point out that look positive? The group is constantly talking about infusing more money in capex in various projects.
So, well, Adani Power was what I was looking at. I mean, and that stock is still in a consolidation, and I would say that it's still holding on to its support, but nothing concrete. As I said, I mean, I would say forget individual stocks. Let's wait for market to show some clarity, because at this level, what we are looking at, I won't be surprised even if we drag down to 21,200.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I'm not in a hurry. We have all the time to get into the market again.
Perfect. So clear verdict right there. There could be further downtick. So do not be in a hurry. Wait and watch. There could be better levels for you to take an entry. And, you know, the India VIX is now 14% higher, 21 odd levels. Shail.
Well, it's actually 23 is what I'm looking at. So, you know, there's still 2 percentage points to go. I'm not very happy with this thing, but remember, we've been screaming all of last week that 23, 24 is coming. We are still at 21. You know, markets make you very happy and they also make you very sad. But always remember that good prices and good markets don't come together. So when you have a good price, you have a troublesome market, and when you have a very, very happy market, you have frothy prices. So at the moment, this is time for smart investors to buy piecemeal. Now what to buy is what our analyst suggests, but if you were me, then I would only look at ETFs to look into, and the two that I have in mind are the Bank Nifty ETF at 477, and I repeat, very, very strong earnings have come in from Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, a blowout coming from State Bank of India. HDFC Bank's earnings were good as well, as also from a host of public sector banks. This is the fall in the Bank Nifty is a knee-jerk reaction to the main event happening in the broader country, which is the national elections. Use this opportunity to buy quality ETFs in a piecemeal SIP fashion, and in less than 2 months you will be sitting on a handsome profit. That is what I am doing. You are happy to do that, but do take advice from a financial independent financial advisor, and then go ahead. Sakshi, absolutely nothing at all that I would like to check via Vaishali. Let's you know, chat something about life in general. Vaishali, how are you looking at your personal portfolio, or are you just a trader? You don't invest at all?
I am an investor. I'm not a trader. Even as for a compliance perspective, I'm not supposed to be trading, so I'm an investor.
Okay. Sakshi, I'll tell you something very interesting. I did not know that Vaishali and I were in a common group. and I didn't have her number earlier. I got a message one day that I'm reading your views on the market, and I am Vaishali Parekh. I knew it was her, but I was a little hesitant saying that do we know each other? So then she said, ha, we know each other. Okay. So that's how life is. So for people who are under how should I say rules and regulations as far as markets are concerned,
Sure.
we have to look at ETFs and mutual funds to create wealth, and I am fearless when it comes to buying.
All
Yes,
right.
consider gold, silver. Why not consider gold, silver?
That's a good one, Vaishali. But Vaishali, very interestingly, I saw, Akshaya Tritiya just went by, and gold has given you a return of 16% from last Akshaya Tritiya till now. But it's the gold jewelry stocks that have actually outperformed, and many giving even multi-bagger returns like Kalyan Jewelers, Tangamail. Some of them have actually outperformed. Of course, Titan and all have been like still about 30-40% higher, but some have given actually multi-bagger. How would you really look?
Well, actually, they're not to my fancy. I'd rather believe in buying pure gold and silver. I mean, I'm a bit conservative Gujarati in that regard. So, these Kalyan jewelers and all are not my cup of tea.
All right. Well, Vaishali, on that note, thank you so much for being with us on the show and helping us navigate through this volatile time in the market. And viewers, now it's time for a very special conversation. Thermax management is now with us. The MD and the CEO, Mr. Ashish Bhandari, is with us to discuss the earnings of the current quarter and also to detail for us what is the vision going forward from here. Remember, even in this kind of a weaker market, we are seeing Thermax shares still hold up. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Good earnings coming in from you. We have seen that the margins have improved to 9.9%. Revenue is up by 20% this time around. And we've also seen the EBITDA performance very, very strong from you. About a 37% increase has been seen. Even the order book has seen an improvement. So we will come to each of the factors. First up, if you could help us understand what really contributed to the revenues this time around for you.
Our revenues are completely a function of backlog. We had a decent backlog coming into this year, and so we are working through that backlog. I would say for me the quarter was not entirely perfect in the sense that you will see that we are starting to eat through our backlog, and our revenues were more than our order intake, and which has been a function of especially our industrial infra business, where we would like to see some more larger orders coming in and getting that backlog to go up again. That will be the focus for this year.
Mr. Bhandari, a very warm welcome to you on Market Today. Fantastic numbers. Almost everything that could be measured has outperformed not only the third quarter but also the fourth quarter of last year. Tell us the outlook. Where do you see growth coming in? The last quarter was benefited immensely from the steel and the distillery sector as far as Thermax is concerned. What is the look ahead?
Look ahead, I would say cautiously optimistic. I would say why optimistic? Because our pipeline of activity has picked up. Yeah, there were few quarters ago I had mentioned that I would like to see a larger pipeline, especially of larger orders, and continued strength in across segments. I see that now, at least in terms of things we are quoting on, bidding on, and working upon. There is enough big and small projects, and the product business continues to stay strong. Even international, our pipeline has picked up. Cautious because some of these depend on competitiveness, also depends on customers going forward with their plans and their projects as they have defined, which I think once the elections are.
Okay, Mr. Bhandari, let's look at the margin number. Sakshi mentioned it's 9.9%, and from my side I add that this is the highest since the third quarter of FY21. I mean, are clients lining up on Thermax's doors with an open checkbook to get their boilers delivered, let their plants delivered? Can you just give us the granularity of the business? You are really enjoying some great times as far as the order book is concerned, as far as the outlook is concerned. Tell us what clients are telling you. Are they expanding? Is this a capex cycle which is getting better over the last 2 quarters? How do you see it? Oh, okay. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have a mild disturbance as far as Mr. Bhandari's link is concerned. We'll try and get it back. We'll try and draw a long-term chart of Thermax in front of us. Remember, this IPO, Sakshi, got listed in 1997, if I'm not wrong. We are waiting for Mr. Bhandari to join us, and Thermax has been one of those wonderful outperformers over the last 2-3 years or so. One of the finest corporates in terms of honesty and integrity, a very strong balance sheet, and a phenomenal space to be in the country as of now. They are capital goods makers, and you have a lots of funds, Sakshi, focusing on the kind of business that Thermax does.
Absolutely. We will wait for Mr. Bhandari to reconnect his link and join us. Meanwhile, of course, the stock has outperformed in the last 1 year. About an 88% kind of surge is what we've seen last 6 months. We've actually seen a 60% kind of a move on this one as well. A strong move. And of course, it's the new energy business that I wanted to discuss with him, that the company is very bullish on, and is now looking at how this could be the next big growth driver for the company from the energy space as well. It's the green solutions business that has also outperformed within the segmental performance within this quarter on a year-on-year basis. We have seen a 72% kind of an increase on this one too. So I wanted to just talk about that. Of course, some of the concerns that were panning out, I think 1 or 2 quarters back, were of course the Red Sea related issues. So it'll be good to ask him about the kind of rates that are panning out in terms of freight at this point. Also, we wanted to discuss the kind of industrial product segment is concerned. It was doing very well up until the last quarter, whether that continues to steady up as well, and the company's expansion plans too. We'll wait for him to join. Until in the meanwhile, let's get back to the markets and see what is the move that we are looking at. The Nifty is now down by about 0.8% in trade, so it slipped even further at 21,880 odd levels, 172 points lower in trade. We'll continue to watch out for how this is going to pan out. Let's also look at the kind of move that we are seeing across the sectors, and within the sectors, where are we seeing pain really emerge? Of course, it's the mid cap and the small caps especially 1.8% down. That's now broader markets kicking in the pain. Auto space, remember, 2.3% lower, very sharp profit booking taking place. Metals down by 1.6%, PSU banks down by 2.7%, realty space 1.4% of a decline. Oil and gas, 1.8% of a fall, 1.1% of a decline coming in for the consumer durables as well. All across the board, if you see, there is a sharp fall, barring the pharma index, that's up by about 0.4% in trade, the only lone gaining sectoral index as of now. And within that, Cipla continues to soar higher, 4.5% now up at 1400 odd levels coming in for Cipla. Remember, we have brokerage houses reports that show Britannia, Asian Paints, TCS now coming a little forward with some gains coming in on this one too. Anything else, Shail, that you want to share?
Sakshi, I think my eyes are stuck on 21,850. We are already at 21,871. The second support intraday level is now broken as far as the index is concerned, and that's really painful. The size of the 15-minute second candle is worse than the first one. So these are painful times. We'll just keep on waiting for better prices to emerge, for long-term investors to step in. We are just waiting for Mr. Bhandari to join in. I'm not sure whether the link is working or not, but apart from that, you have okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do is we'll wrap it up now, and for your viewing pleasure, we'll again request Mr. Bhandari to join us on a later date. Remember, Thermax is in the same space as ABB, Siemens, Schneider, BHEL is in, and this is the capital goods space that is buzzing with gains for the moment. The Nifty down 193 points, 21,860. Remember, the 100 DMA is at stake. The Nifty Bank down 357 points. 100 DMA is at stake at 47,000. We'll be with you throughout the day as far as the markets are concerned, but for the time now, we'll be wrapping up market today. Thank you so much for watching.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls. We take your stock-specific queries and have it addressed by top stock market experts who come on our channel. So in case you're watching us for the first time, you can also send in your queries with related to specific stocks if you're looking to invest in the stock markets or you currently hold in your portfolio. The easiest way to get through to us is via this WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens. Do mention your question along with your name, your location and your contact details as well. Along with this, you can also use our social media platform, the YouTube platform where you're watching us and this show live. You can send in your questions in the comment section so that I can incorporate them in our live show, as well as you can also send in your queries via Facebook,